Welcome to Tried and True with a Dash of Woo, where we blend rock solid tips with a little bit of magic. I'm Renee Bowen, your host, life and business coach, and professional photographer at your service. We are all about getting creative, diving into your business, and playing with manifestation over here. So, are you ready to get inspired and have some fun? Let's dive in. Hey, welcome back to Tried and True with a Dash of Woo. I am your host, Renee Bowen. And this is my second time recording this podcast today. I just recorded a whole podcast that was actually pretty fire. And it didn't record. Like the sound, it sounds like I'm underwater. Still don't know why. And I'm hoping this one actually works because I've been having a lot of tech issues lately with the sound on my computer. So I'm really hoping that this one is coming through. And I just don't have the bandwidth to record the length of podcast that I just recorded. So I have to just believe that I didn't need to put that one out and that I needed to make it more concise. So that's what we're going to do. The reason I wanted to make this podcast this week is that here we are in the middle of June. And a lot of you guys are having a hard time getting clients. And so I wanted to address that. I have some resources that I've been creating. Well, I always create, but just recently created a couple of different blog posts that speak to that. And so you guys definitely should go check those out. They're linked for you in the show notes. One of them also is talking about the summer sales that I have going on right now. So I do want to mention that really quickly because I have some of my most popular programs on sale, but only for a week. And one of them is the Creative Team Method, which is normally $9.97. So you're getting it for $600 off during the summer sale, as well as some other stuff, including my style guide called Fit Check that you can actually use, your images or mine in there. I've got a lot of really cool stuff on the sale. So you want to go check those out. That's linked for you below as well. Just make sure you check all of that out before Sunday because they go offline Sunday night at midnight. Okay, so if you are a photographer and you are booked, you might be thinking, I don't need to listen to this, Renee, because I'm booked. I am going to be going over some pretty important information about ChatGPT in a second. So you definitely want to tune in for that. And yeah, I'm going to make this as concise as possible. So hopefully this podcast will not end up as long as the one before it did that did not record. I'm still real bitter about that. I'm going to let it go. Let's move on. Okay, so you might still want to listen. If you don't have enough clients, you definitely want to listen. And you may or may not like some of the stuff I have to say, but that's okay. It's all said with love. And my intention is for you to actually, get clients and be profitable. That's always my intention. So first things first, you have to, be good at what you do. So if you are brand new listening to this, brand new photographer, you haven't honed your skill yet, you haven't defined your style yet, that needs to happen first. We're photographers and our work is going to resonate with people based on our work first. So yeah, your SEO and all that matters and your copywriting. And we're going to talk about some of that stuff in this podcast. But if your work does not speak to a client, you won't book the client. So please take the time to get good at what you do and to just get better and better at it. We all started at the beginning. There's nothing to be, ashamed of. Like we all started in the same boat, basically. Okay. So make sure that you are just honing that skill and getting really good at what you do. At this time of year in June, if you are any kind of photographer, but specifically senior photographer and even wedding photographers, any kind of niche though, I feel like has a hard time booking in June and July. Specifically for seniors, it's because people don't want to think about being in school anymore. Like they're done with school, they're out, they want to be having fun in the summer. So if you haven't booked your clients for summer already, it's going to be hard to actually get people to want to book with you right now. And that's normal. Okay. So first of all, I want you to know that that we all sort of see a dip in that, but there are things that you can do in the future, say next year, so that you don't end up in this position because ideally you want to be booked. You want to be booked by like April or May for June through August. So I'm going to be going over some stuff that's going to help you with that. And also some stuff that's going to help you get some clients in right now if you just need that income, right? So let's get into it. First things first, you need to have a very, very clear picture of what you want. Okay. I ask photographers all the time, I'm like, what kind of business do you want? What kind of life do you want? A lot of us don't have the answer to that. And I have been in that position before too, where I just didn't know what I wanted. Until you get really clear on that what, it's going to be really hard to reach it. So do yourself a favor and dig into that. And if you're having a hard time deciding or figuring out what it is you truly want, that's an even bigger reason to spend some more time on it, because chances are you probably have some programming wrapped up into that. Like maybe somebody told you it wasn't a valuable thing to do, or, you were told that just do this, like you're trying to follow someone else's life plan. Okay. So if you haven't given yourself the time and freedom to do that, now is a great time to do it. And there is no set rule on this. Like, dig into it. You deserve to have the kind of life that you love. So spend some time on that. Outlining your purpose with clarity is not to be skipped. It just isn't. So definitely do that first, because you need to understand, like, your business is unique and you need to define that. From there, you can develop a brand story and a brand vision and a brand message. That's really important. A lot of you guys don't have that identified. So those two things really need to be like the foundation of everything and all your marketing. It's going to be really hard to get clients if you don't have a very easy way to express that. Okay. So those need to be clearly and deeply outlined. And anybody who tells you just run some ads and market to everybody, run from that person, because I'm going to tell you something that is probably not very popular. You might not even want to hear this, but the only people who really see return on Facebook ads are people who are kind of competing at a low price point, because it's easy to get a lot of people on Facebook to buy in cold leads, like just cold people that you don't know, to buy into a photography session if it's cheap. Okay. What I do as a boutique photographer, I average 4,000 and up per client, and that's what I teach. That's a whole different thing. So it's a lot harder to attract the right buyer on Facebook with just generic basic Facebook ads or boosting posts. That's kind of just like throwing money into the fire. And I don't suggest you do that. You are free to do whatever you want, obviously. But if you want to attract a more savvy buyer, some of the other things that I talk about in here are going to be more valuable to you. So having that clear brand message and, your vision, so that the feeling is expressed in all your marketing, that's kind of what we're going for here. So really do yourself a favor and do that work. And I have tons of resources for you guys. If you're in a membership with me or coaching with me, you know that I really harp on this, and we revisit this often. So it's super important. The other piece of that on top of those two pillars is going to be your target client. You got to know who you're talking to. If you're a senior photographer, you have two. You have the parent and the teenager. And if you are a senior photographer, just as a side note, and you are only marketing to the parent, you really are going to miss the boat here. That could be a big reason of why you don't have the clients right now that you wish you did. Perhaps that worked for you for a long time in the past, but it just doesn't work anymore. There are some pockets and some regions that it might still work. If like if you're there and you're like, okay, I have no problem marketing to the parent, that's good. That's fine. But I really do still think that you are going to see some changes in your market. It may take a little bit for it to bleed into yours, but it's something that you need to have in your awareness, that you need to be marketing to the teenager, because more and more the parents are letting the teenager call the shots on who gets hired. And the teenager has a very different idea a lot of times on who that is. So you can just be the most amazing photographer ever, but if that teenager is not on board with you, the parent's gonna let them say no. So I want you to be speaking to both of them. If you're a branding photographer, headshot, wedding photographer, any niche that you're in, you have to make sure that you are clearly speaking to that target client at all times. And so those three main things need to be in place before you actually can produce any effective marketing. So if your marketing is lacking, or you feel like you have, don't have the clients coming in or the leads coming in, I would start on those things first. From there, you can build your marketing strategy, and then you can make it look like however you want it to look for you. Again, this has to feel good to you. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. So that looks like you deciding how often you want to show up on social media, and how you want that to actually play out. So it has to look like how you want it to look. That's the main thing I want you to hear about that. Social media is a big part of this, but it's not the only factor. Okay. So you've got social media, you've got relationship in-person marketing, referral marketing like that, and SEO. Those three things are like the trifecta of getting clients, of marketing, of telling people what you do, who it's for, and, telling people how you solve their problems. You can do that more effectively when you have a very clear message that just kind of gets expressed in all of those different areas. Basically, that's really what we're going for here. And so there are some things that you can be doing in each of those areas to increase your chances of getting found in your market. If you are a boutique photographer, meaning, you're going to be charging more, shooting fewer clients sort of thing, the relationship building marketing, the in-person and referral marketing, the working with other businesses in your local area marketing, that's going to be really, really key for you. Your social media definitely still needs to come into play. It needs to back all of that up. If, you're out there in the community and you've got a really good brand name though, chances are you're not going to need to rely on it quite as much. And so that's always where I tell people to kind of dive deeper and look and see how you can use the power of your local area and other business owners and, other people who are in front of that target client, how you can actually leverage that for your own marketing. That's where I feel like a lot of people miss the boat. I'm an introvert. I don't love getting out there, trust me, but it does pay off and it pays off long term. That's the thing. So you build those relationships now and you keep them up, they will follow you for years and years to come. Like people will be talking about you for years because your brand name needs to be on everyone's lips in your area. Okay. You want to be top of mind for people. And the way that you do that is you create these strong relationships. There's a lot of different ways to do that. One of the blog posts that I was talking about before that's linked goes into more detail on some of that stuff as well. So definitely click on that. As a side note, if you are a high school senior photographer and you don't run a senior rep team, now's a great time to start. Yes, you can start one right now. You can even do like a little modified version where you do like just like a summer program where it's just 1 or 2 months. It's a great way to like build excitement about your business. You can even do like a younger teen team during the summer. That's a fantastic way because, again, you're marketing to those younger teens. They're going to ideally come with you as they grow through high school and become part of your senior client base or your team or whatever you're running. A senior team is 100% still an effective way to build and grow your senior business just in general. It's how I built mine. Yes, it was a little bit different. It was back in, 2007. Nobody was really doing seniors at all where I was located, but I wanted to bring it here and it has definitely evolved over time. And my clients have changed. So I've had to pivot. So if you haven't pivoted your program and you've seen like a dip in your program, now's the time to change things up. Again, our Gen Z clients and our Gen Alpha clients, they don't really respond to the same things as, our older clients from the past did. So it's really important for you to constantly be reevaluating that and figuring out ways to make it valuable to them. Okay. Like who is that ideal dream client of yours? It goes back to that foundation we were talking about. That's going to be relevant for your senior team, but you still can start a senior rep team now. It's completely possible to do that and just pull one together on the fly. You don't even have to have like a very in-depth program like I teach in the creative team method. And in fact, inside of the creative team method are some ideas for these kinds of things where you can just do like little pop-up teams, or maybe you do a teen team. It's all inside that program, which is on sale right now for $600 off. So hit the link below and grab that. You can pull it together. Like there's so much marketing inside of that program. It's ridiculous. The issue that I see a lot of photographers running into is that they're running teams in a pretty antiquated way, or they're doing it for free, or they're like just doing it for a small amount and then expecting their senior client to book a session on top of that and then hoping that they buy product. And that is just not That's not the easy way to do it. And I'm all about making things easy. And so I teach it in a very different way. And I believe that it's more meaningful as well to your clients. So check into it and let me know if you have any questions. But in general, senior rep team, still valuable. If you're not blogging, get on that right now. Get some blogs put out there. Make sure your Google business page is updated. Those are two very simple things that you can do to up your SEO pretty much ASAP. So make sure you're paying attention to those sort of things as well. SEO is kind of a long game, so I'm not going to go too deep into like the specifics of that. I'm not an SEO expert, but I do know that blogging and updating your Google business page, those two things are super effective. Let me sidestep for one quick second and talk to you a little bit about ChatGPT and the incredible power that it has because it's relevant to this SEO conversation real quick. I have been using ChatGPT from the minute it came out, like late 2022. I'm an early adopter pretty much on anything tech. But when this came out, I was like, yep, this is going to be a game changer. So I definitely hopped on the bandwagon. I paid for the paid version, pretty much as soon as they released it. And I've been using it every month. And I think it's the best $20 a month I've ever spent because it's doing the work of like 20 people for me right now. It's kind of insane. And I wanted to just kind of put a bug in your ear about some of the updates that I've just seen. And again, like I'm not even an expert on this, but I use it so much and it saves me so much time that I feel like if you don't know about some of these aspects, you need to. And I was just going over some of this kind of like a tutorial with my Elevate members this morning on our call. And a few of them were like, whoa, I didn't know it could do that. So if that's you, hopefully this will help you as well. So you don't have to have the paid version. The free version still does quite a lot. And even just yesterday, Apple announced that Siri is going to be integrated into ChatGPT on this new update. So if you do have the paid version, it will translate with your paid version of ChatGPT, which I'm so excited about because I already talk into my phone because there is an app for a ChatGPT. So I can talk, it can talk back now, which is really bizarre. But you guys, I really can't believe some of the stuff that I've been able to do in the last few days. So it's been helpful for me, like for a while now, as far as like creating content, as blogs and social media content and all of that. In my voice, because I've trained it. Again, like you have to make sure you train it with who you are and how you want it to sound. That's a really big part of it because I see a lot of you guys like copying and pasting what ChatGPT or some AI has told you for your social media captions, and you can tell. Like I can tell that that's not you. So please make sure that if you are using it, you're training it to make it sound like you. And the way you do that is you go into your settings, you tell it about yourself. And then now what's really cool about ChatGPT is that it can remember across threads. You can toggle that on so that you don't have to continue telling it in each thread who you are and what you do. It'll remember, which is really cool. So the thing I want to talk to you about really quickly is that I use Chrome as a browser and I have the plugin for keywords everywhere. I don't really use it. I don't have the paid version, but I definitely toggled it on at some point, right? And I just saw a couple of days ago that inside of my ChatGPT, now there's a little box on the bottom left corner that says templates, and it has like the K for keywords everywhere. And when I click on it, it will give me templates for everything from social media to business plans to SEO and then some. And then there's categories, subcategories that you can toggle on. You can tell it what kind of voice tone you want it to speak in. You set all these little things. It's like, you can toggle it. It's really quick. And then all it asks of you is your niche, like what you do or what your product is. And it spits out the prompt. And it's kind of amazing. And so I was able to do like whole 3 months of keyword research for one of my clients a couple of days ago. I just kind of put in her niche and what she does and, what she wants to be blogging about. And it spit out an entire spreadsheet for the next 3 months. And it was good, by the way. And then I said, okay, give me the CSV file so I can download that and upload it to Google Sheets that we share together. done within a second. This all happens within seconds, by the way. It'll even do things like if you put SEO as the category and then on-page optimization as the subcategory, then it'll ask you if you want to do like meta title and description generator, create a silo structure, insert keywords into the content. Like it gets very specific with you. So if you are blogging, and you should be, you need to be using ChatGPT and see if you can get this little plugin from Keywords Everywhere, because it's kind of a game changer. I'm going to be diving so deep into ChatGPT in the next 6 months with my VIP level of Elevate, because if you're not using it, like you're literally just wasting time. And I really want to save you guys from that. And one of the ways I can do that is to work with my coaching students, those in my membership, and Elevate both levels, because I have two different levels to Elevate, and my one-on-one clients. I really want you guys to be using this as well. So I'm going to be teaching you what I'm doing and going even deeper into all of that in the next 6 months. This technology is moving at such a rapid pace. It's going to be hard to keep up. So if you haven't really started using it yet, now's the time, because it's just going to go faster and faster. The other thing I want to mention is, another reason why you might not be getting clients is, how often are you actually asking for the sale? There's different types of marketing. And if you're just doing like, let's say, social media marketing for reach and attention, and you're just trying to like get out there, that's awareness and that's reach. But are you asking people to book something? Are you like leveraging the power of marketing language? Are you creating a sense of urgency? There's a lot of different like marketing techniques and strategies that you can be implementing into all of your content, instead of just kind of like putting out some BTS content and hoping that people see it and be like, oh, she looks cool, I want to book with her. You need to be like kind of a little bit in people's faces sometimes, and maybe not in every piece of content, but please don't shy away from the calls to action and from asking for the sale. A lot of times this looks like you actually going into people's DMs as well. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, sometimes you really need to be the one to do the engagement. I've talked about this a lot in the past, but if you're just like kind of consuming content and then putting your stuff out and then like leaving the platform, you need to be engaging with your clients more, because you're going to show up more on their algorithm if you are. So engage with your clients, comment on their stuff, like their stuff, and hop in their DMs and talk to them. Hey, have you booked your senior portraits yet? I have a couple spots open for July, but the rest of my calendar is looking kind of booked. Like that kind of conversation. You got to start the conversation sometimes. You can't get what you don't ask for. And then that sort of leads me into the biggest reason I feel like people aren't booking the way that they should be, is because there's some sort of block in there, right? There's some sort of like limiting belief and something holding you back. Usually it's about money story, money worth issues, that's not even really yours, that you just picked up somewhere along the way and it got stuck in your unconscious mind. And now that's what you believe. And every time you feel like putting yourself out there, you feel like nobody cares, nobody's going to listen, nobody's going to book. If you have a very negative self-talk happening. So first of all, if you have that negative voice in your head, that's not your intuition. That's not you. That's not your higher self. That's your unconscious mind. That's your programming. That's your safety. It is running the show, and you need to be the one to step in and say, I'm done with this, because you absolutely have the power to. And I'm here to tell you that you can absolutely have the business that you want. You are worthy right now. You don't have to jump through any hoops. You can have what you want. Absolutely. I'm living proof of that. I know so many people who are as well. And I can look back in 2004, like 2004, Renee was sad. 2004, Renee was the most depressed, the most anxious that she's ever been, right? Like I was really not in a good place. I was a young mom. I had 3 kids under the age of like 5. And I I was just so deeply unhappy with my life. And I felt really guilty about that too, by the way, because I was like, why am I so unhappy? I have these amazing kids. I have this amazing husband. I should be happy. But man, I was not happy. I wanted like purpose. I needed purpose in my life. Yes, I had a lot of hormonal things going on. I was in perimenopause. I had Hashimoto's that was undiagnosed. All of those things really like take a toll on us. And I felt very, very alone in that. So it was really, really hard for me to dig myself out of that, but I did. And it took a little while, but there were a lot of things along the way that helped. I mean, I was on medication for a little while, so I definitely I'm a big believer in like doing what you need to do to kind of pull yourself out of stuff. But it was also during that time is when my husband bought me those Tony Robbins CDs and I was listening to the CDs on a Walkman. I didn't even have an iPod. We were like broke. We were just kind of like scraping by. And I just was like, there's got to be something more for me. Like I felt like I wanted so much more for my life and business. And I was just thinking about starting a photography business at that point, and it was like a dream. And when I thought about it, it felt so far away. But I look back on those journals now that I kept and the things that I wrote down and the things that I wanted, and I have them all and then some. And so write them down. Get very clear about what you want because there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of power in like just the thing that it does in your brain chemistry, but also what you're putting out to the universe because we don't get what we want, we get what we are. And what that means is you get the vibration that you send out. So you have to change your vibration if you want something bigger, better, more. You've got to change the vibration that you're emitting. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. I'm not going to get into that in this podcast because I have other podcasts about that. And I feel like I talk about that till I'm blue in the face. And all my people in Elevate, you guys are going to get a little more of that in the next 6 months as well, because I'm creating a whole standalone program about money worthiness. And, you'll be able to like get that on its own. It's basically going to be like a 90-day challenge, but my VIP level of Elevate, you guys are going to get that included in your membership because I know that so many people really struggle with that. And I want to help fix that. Like it's so fixable. It's so fixable. So anyway, long story short, you have what you need right now. You don't have to be someone else or get a new camera or whatever. Like you can do a lot with what you have, I promise. And you have to start with what you have, right? You can't get anything more that you desire if you aren't in the moment grateful for what you have. You can't hate where you are and get something amazing because those are two completely different vibrations. So be intentional with that vibration that you're emitting, with that radio signal that you're putting out. Okay, I feel like I could talk about this until I'm blue in the face. The one thing that I will mention really quickly that I forgot to, because this is the second time I'm recording this, is that your website makes a big difference. And there's a lot of you guys with really basic, old school looking websites. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's the truth. You need to be paying attention to your website. Okay. Like it is your brand. When people hit your website and, they maybe see your work on Instagram or they hear about you, or maybe they're just Googling you. They come to your website and they're like, oh my gosh, it takes forever to load, or it looks like it was built in 2010. That's a problem. That's a problem. You need to pay attention to that. And it doesn't have to cost you thousands of dollars either. Like it can, but that's not what I want you to do. There's a lot of things that you can do right now to help your website. I love Showit. I have been on Showit for a while now, so I think that their platform is pretty awesome. I have my template that I purchased through Tonic. So I'll link both of those things for you guys below so you can check it out. Tonic is like the template that you would buy to put on a Showit site. But I absolutely love my website. It looks like I spent thousands and thousands on it, and I did not. I did it all by myself, and it was really easy. Again, I also used ChatGPT to help me along the way. And I am so glad that I did that. Like, I had a WordPress blog and site for a long time and it was fine. It was good, but it needed to be updated for a little while. So I finally bit the bullet and did it. A lot of my clients also love Wix, which is really inexpensive. And you can actually do quite a bit on Wix now, as well as Pixie Set. Now, Pixie Set, I know isn't great for SEO. However, if that's what you're using right now, because you're using it for your galleries and it also has like the studio software built in and stuff like that. And if that's what you can use right now, you can still pimp it out, make it pretty good. I mean, like I've got one of my coaching students I just finished working with a couple months ago. They're getting tons and tons of inquiries, and I think they're booked out into the end of the year because they were intentional about creating that foundation, like I talked about, like that brand message and all of that stuff, and speaking to their target client. And they redid that Pixie Set site, and it's 100 times better than what it was before. And it's also attracting clients. So you can still do a lot with some of these sites. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it. Put it on your list as something that you definitely want to invest in at some point if you can't do it right now, but your website really, really matters. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and remind you guys to hit the links in the show notes, because the blog posts that I spoke about before have even more in-depth information about all of this. And if you are looking for actual real help with your business, you need to look into Elevate. There are 2 levels. The VIP level is by application only though. And there's a $49 level as well. And if you sign up before the end of June for that level, you also get something special. So definitely check out the link that's linked below that says Elevate. And you can find all the information about what each of those levels include. And just reach out with any questions too. I'm happy to chat with you guys about that, because if you can't invest at the one-on-one level right now, and I'm not even taking one-on-ones just yet anyway, because I'm pretty booked, or you can't do the VIP level of Elevate, at least get in foundation. I mean, like, there's so much content there for you guys. It's such a good value, and you get actual coaching and you get accountability, and you will get out of it what you put in, just like anything else. So I hope that this was valuable. I hope that it gave you some good ideas at least, and I hope it gives you some inspiration to go out there and change something. If you are not getting the clients that you want, you can absolutely change that, and you deserve to have it, and you're worthy of it right now. So don't believe the lies your unconscious mind is telling you. Okay. Have a great week, friends. Love you. Bye.